I'm curious, what are your thoughts on Obama? If you feel like delving into politics.
I love politics. I
Okay,
try really hard to steer clear of politics because I'm such a yeah. Okay. Here's my 411 on Obama. You've
okay.
got somebody who has been talk about in response to human asking. You've got somebody who has come here in order to stretch people into a new form of consciousness. The issue is like I said, we're going to have this polarization. So what you're seeing basically is this person who's got all this passion and doesn't know half of what goes on behind the scenes there until the day he gets inaugurated. Then you have everyone threatening his family, threatening all this other stuff, and now he's caught between a rock and a hard place in terms of who's really in charge versus me thinking I'm in charge. Presidents find out really quickly when they get into office that they're just a figure jockey for the people that actually rule, and in this case that's big corporations.
Yeah,
So, so this man has been pushed this way and that, and in essence, he's a figure jockey, which is pushed back more so than most, and is basically losing his vital force because of it.
I see. So you see him as a positive force, but he's just unable to enact what he would like to enact.
Yes, he's got a stalemate between his own fears, which is basically most of his own fears involve losing his direct family.
Gotcha.
They're pushing his buttons, and his expansion is basically choosing his own fears or choosing his vision.
Wow. David
And
Wilcock
so
has suggested that as well.
he's watching his energy is interesting because it's like he's caught behind between a rock and a hard place, no matter what he's doing. And
Gotcha.
what you're watching in terms of the energy around him, it's almost like watching an animal in the ocean kind of struggle for death, and there's like a row of sharks watching.
Uh-huh.
And so you can see them sometimes when you watch him talking, you can see them watching him, and their energy towards him is very like, are you going to say it? Are you going to do what we want you to do?
Mm-hmm.
And you'll watch him try to do things, and it's like he's trying to find loopholes to get around these people, which essentially hold the puppet strings governmentally here. And when he usually runs into roadblocks, and so we've got a stalemate in the government right now, meaning that it used to be in a two-party system that created more balance, but we sort of wove religion and money in with one particular party, of course being the Republican Party. The minute that you do something like that, the minute that religion becomes part of it and that money becomes part of it, the issue is that if we've got corporations running the government and the people who are making laws that benefit corporations are Republicans, now everyone who has any kind of power at all, and let's just face it, in this world money is power, they become Republicans. So we lie to ourselves because we have a Democratic president that this is a democracy that we're living in, and it's not. It's more like an oligarchy ruled by a group of Republican men who all own these corporations and want the only laws to be passed to benefit their pocketbook.
Yeah.
And so they're not actually interested in moving anything through. And so it used to be that when bills came to office, people could agree, but now it's like we don't even want to find a meeting of minds. We just want to make sure the other person loses.
Now,
So,
go ahead.
so like let's say that somebody tries to pass a bill and there are any kind of Democrats that are for it or the president's for it. What you'll watch is that they don't even want to find a compromise. They just want to make the other person wrong. So we're in a pissing contest, we're in a war, and this country isn't moving anyway.
Yeah. Um, David Wilcock has described them as being basically on the last ropes of that this cabal, as it were, is on the verge of of failure because other political forces in the world are against them, a majority.
You see, that's just like, how many years do we have to piss people off before it bites us in the ass?
Yeah, it's been a long run, but
Pretty much, and so it's kind of the story about the USA and where we're going as a country. Basically, is like I don't know if you have ever heard of the comedian Eddie Izzard,
I vaguely
but
recognize that name, but no.
he's awesome. He does this skit, which is the only way for me to express to you what I see vibrationally is exactly what he's joking about. He
Okay.
says this joke basically about the fact that he's talking about how as an American, if you're singing the national anthem, you don't actually need to learn the words. All you need to do is put your hand over your heart and stand up and like say gibberish just as long as you've got some sort of passion there behind your voice.
Yeah.
It's really funny to watch him do that, but then he stops after a while and he looks at the camera and he says, "Be very careful. You and Rome are the only ones that have ever done that." Meaning, put the hand over the heart when we're saying the national anthem.
Oh, okay. Is he a
Yeah.
current comedian?
Yes.
Okay. So he's basically saying your fall is inevitable.
Oh, which it is.
Yeah.
You can only be a bully for so long before somebody stands up to you, and right now we've got a very dangerous, stacked and tiered type of reality in the world. We make an enemy of one country, that's making an enemy of another country.
Mm-hmm.
Hence why World War happens, which is why we've been a match and still are a match to a potential World War III.
Mm-hmm.
So when people say, what happens in the next 5 or 10 years, I'm like, let's see. I hope it's not some of the potentials that I'm seeing here, because, it's not just for humans that I'm seeing life pass, it's also for the Earth itself. And for the Earth itself, we are still a match to a third World War.
Oh boy.
So let's see if we can raise the consciousness enough to no longer be a match to that.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, things are just changing so rapidly at this point. The potentialities that it's
Oh yeah, they're
difficult.
shifting more so than I've ever seen before.